fine fucking material we had. We had great material there for the pre-stream. Then we realized I had not started the pre-stream yet. So let's take it live and start the pre-stream for all the people who are there to listen to us today.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, my mic is just picking up crazy. As we were discussing my problems with Gmail and getting emails delivered to Gmail, and you were telling me about some crazy-ass fucking bug that Google had.
Yeah, they said they have fixed an issue in Gmail because they saw scammers impersonating legitimate and verified company. But they aren't really talking much about why or how that happened. They're just saying that it did happen, but because they just fixed this, that might be something that's causing it.
Causing, well, you said,
causing your issue.
Well, my issue is getting email delivered to Google. This is the
Okay.
You're talking about an authentication issue. So in other words, people logging onto their Gmail account, I assume.
No, allowing the email to go through into their email that is authenticated as good. Yes, they got the blue check mark kind of idea. And they were having issues with scammers sending the emails into their account. And they've been trying to blockade that, keep all the scammers out. And I guess it was a bug that they managed to fix.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens then. I can send a test email to my Gmail account again and see if emails are arriving there and not being turfed into the spam filter automatically. Such a pain in the neck.
Apparently, it was about 2 years ago that they ended up launching this new thing. The emails in question appeared from delivery giant UPS. So, like, no malicious payload was actually included in these emails that they were aiming to, or that caused them to fix the bug. But
well, I don't know. All I know is that I used to send all my emails through my service provider, my cable service provider, using their SMTP, and it's been working flawlessly for 12, 15 years. And then I didn't even notice, but it was about a week and a half ago. I've been sending emails to clients, but you know, I get emails back, no big deal. I don't pay attention to what their email addresses because we don't look at that anymore because it's all automatic now. So at any rate, and then I end up getting there and I'm sending off ones to Gmails, and I'm expecting responses back from them because we're doing work for them, etc., and letting them know what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't get responses. Figure out they're busy, summertime, whatever. And finally get an email back from a client. It's like, hey, I haven't heard from you. What's happening with this? It's like, you're not getting my emails? Is that not the problem? I've told you everything that's going on. So I start looking at Gmail. I've had some occasional issues with Gmail over the last couple of months. Off and on over the last couple of months, I've been sending Gmails, and I wouldn't get a response for a while. I'd send it again, I'd get the response, and again, just a minor bug. So it didn't bother me. But this time around, it's like, oh, wait a minute, none of the clients. And so I finally redid a couple of things and fired him an email and said, aren't you getting my emails? No, I haven't gotten an email from you, blah. And it's like, I got this one, but it was in spam filter. And so I started sending emails to my own Gmail account. And at first I couldn't get them to go through until I had to change from my service provider's SMTP server to using my own server's SMTP server. And I quit using that one years ago because occasionally it would have problems and I just didn't want to deal with them. So I decided that I guess I may as well hunker down and figure out how to deal with it now. So I spent the entire, not the entire day, and sure shit, the one I just sent to Gmail went right to spam again. No matter how many times I tell it, it's not spam. Maybe if I send enough of them to where it thinks it's not spam, and Google will learn. But, so the problem is I can send them, I can get them to Gmail now, but they go into everyone's spam folder. No matter what message I put, no matter what signature I put, no matter what text I put, even though I've put good, clear, concise text, good headings, no links, no nothing, clean emails, every one of them goes straight to spam.
Hey, Dad.
Yep.
Apparently they can't hear us.
They can't hear us?
No, your alter ego is saying that she can't hear us. I don't know, Hemdian, can you hear us at all?
Oh. Why can't they hear us? I could hear us.
She said it didn't auto start, I guess.
Well,
not sure what that
I have no idea. Do your own restart of the video because it's working. How about it, Hemdian? Do you hear us? We'll wait the 30-second obligatory for you to hear the words I just said. And then, another few seconds for you to go, oh, wait a minute, I can type on the keyboard.
Well, hopefully our sound is going through. Okay, yeah, Hemdian can hear us. Excellent.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
All right.
Tell my alter ego to turn on the thing.
Oh, alter ego got it.
There you go.
Awesome.
So,
perfect.
Anyway, whining and bitching and complaining about Gmail. I may be forced to actually turn myself into use the Gmail system. What's it called? I forget what it's called there. G Suite. I may have to turn my domain into a G Suite just so I can get my freaking emails to Gmail, because there's too many morons out there using Gmail as their primary address.
I've just realized something.
What's that?
Gmail's been having a problem getting emails from pretty much anybody except other Gmail accounts. So maybe it's just their way of making it so everyone has to use Gmail.
Yeah, well, maybe all the rest of the people that are still using Gmail will abandon Gmail and go into something else that actually works and doesn't scan and read every single email you send them. All your private emails, the sexy emails, the ones about the company investments you're planning, all of that stuff is read by Gmail.
And and it's kept in a vault.
No, it's not kept in a vault.
They don't keep it.
Well, they keep it, but it's not kept private. I guarantee it. There's people that skim through that stuff for companies and organizations looking for tips, and they're using it for nefarious means, man. If I was an evil genius, I would.
Yeah, but you just don't have the energy for that.
No, I don't.
Being an evil genius takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, not really. Takes a whole lot less effort than you think. All right.
Hemdian said if it's Gmail, Hotmail, etc., it's assumed spam.
Yes. Well, that's the whole point. All right. Enough whining and complaining about Google and Gmail, and let's have a little music to carry us to showtime.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, Lord knows where I belong. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the jigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine? claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devils at a crossroads, jokers doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
There we go. Shall we get started?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 603, and we have plugins for merging WP users, resetting databases, WordPress news, and more, all coming up on WordPress. All right, let's wind that one back, man. My tongue just suddenly tripped all over the place. All right, it's probably because I'm still thinking about my irritating morning.
All right, take two.
Take two. All right, shall we get started?
Absolutely, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 603, and we have plugins for merging WP users, resetting databases, WordPress news, and more, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Number overall.
And we've got the usual great show for you today. If you didn't catch the pre-stream, you should go back and listen to it. It was a very entertaining discussion all about Gmail and its irritants. With all of that being said, I don't have much more else to babble on about, so...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
You know, it's too bad you don't drink coffee. Coffee might help you with your tongue twister this morning.
No, it'd probably make it worse.
What? No way. Coffee fixes everything.
No.
Same with duct tape. Well,
duct tape fixes
duct tape can fix anything but stupid.
No, it can fix stupid too. You can use enough duct tape to tape them to a wall and leave them there.
It still doesn't fix it. It just puts it out of your way. See? It can't fix it. It can just remove it for a while.
That fixes it. That gets it out of my way. It's no longer my problem.
So welcome to episode 603, everyone. We're calling it nothing but the meat of the WordPress plugins. We've got a couple of great in-depth plugins to cover for you, some recent news in both WordPress world and tech world in general, and some awesome WordPress tips. Don't really have much to say other than we had one rainy day and it was actually kind of nice. Ended up having my daughter's birthday party on the single rainy day. And, oh, that's cool. Hemdian said that all sound levels are good. Excellent. Thanks, Hemdian.
Gotta love it.
Yep. So we have some reminders before we start the show today. Just a quick reminder that the show starts at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time with the pre-stream starting around 12:15 or so. And pre-stream is where we twiddle with the dials and knobs and really just warm up our voices. Sometimes the conversation's entertaining, like today. Sometimes they're just blah. And don't forget that this is a value for value show. You are a big part of its creation. You are producers, and we need you to help us to produce. Get on out there and hit some like buttons, share an episode or two, and let people know that you helped to produce the longest-running WordPress Plugins podcast. Noon does make a good point. You can't use duct tape and blue toilet paper. Try at your own peril.
Don't read the chats while you're trying to get your other stuff done.
I already finished. That's why I read it.
Oh, okay. So then we need to pop in and have a look at the art then.
Yeah.
There we go. It made me hungry. Still makes me hungry every time I see this picture.
Yeah, it's a really good picture. It's actually, I looked at it, I was like, hey, that looks like a professional picture. I wonder if it's actually professional use. It wouldn't be used for like advertising, so then it wouldn't be
Well, I don't
here,
know.
but it could be used for advertising.
Jay Salaba sent it to us, and he was always pretty good about making sure we had the ability to use the picture.
Oh yeah, looks really good though. Looks like real burgers, not the kind of burgers that you buy in those 12 packs in the grocery store. They didn't turn out very good.
They're not always that great. They're great for an emergency, and that's about the limit of them.
Or a kid's birthday party, because teenagers eat anything.
No, true. You put it in front of teenagers, they'll eat it. No, this is a great piece of old art. So
definitely. This is from our art vaults, and if anybody out there is interested in adding to our art vaults, you can add your own art by going to WP plugins.com/artwork. You can also check out the artwork in the art vaults there and see if you get any ideas or anything. And yeah, pretty cool place to go.
Alrighty.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
As per usual, we'll start off our news with WordPress Vulnerability Report for June 7th, 2023. Excuse me. There is a long list of patched plugins and an even longer list of plugins with vulnerabilities this week. The ones I most easily recognize are Constant Contact Forms, WordPress Social Login, LWS Hide Login, Google Fonts for WordPress, that one I've seen a lot, wpcache.com, blog in blog, and WordApp. The rest of them I didn't immediately recognize. Some of them sound familiar, but do go and check these out for yourself. Figure out which ones are having issues, which ones are not.
Yeah, figure out which ones you have that might be having issues.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Surprisingly, we don't actually have any news from the WordPress world at the moment. The last thing that they have up there is back from May.
Wow, it's a quiet week. Maybe it all took June off for vacation.
Maybe, because I even searched around the web in general, and there's really nothing going on with WordPress right now. The only things that are going on are the WordCamps. So
be it.
There's not even that many WordCamps this month. Most of them are set for next month in August.
All right. Well, we'll let the news be light. I like it that way.
I do have my little random thing though.
Okay.
What happens when you set your techies free to build the perfect workspace? You get a serious mishmash that includes everything from sleeping pods to laundry capability to yoga rooms. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So this one company, I think it was in Switzerland or Sweden. It was in Sweden. This company in Sweden ended up setting their techies free, and that's actually part of the place that they have set up. There's places set up for people who like to bounce ideas off each other. The whole building is in like a circular shape so that sound doesn't travel. And it's quite interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's quite interesting, definitely worth a read. You can learn a little bit about the psychology on building different kinds of things for your company. If your company is this is a tech company, so they have all kinds of different positions. They have the ones who are doing the socials, they have the ones who are doing the thinking, the ones who are doing the building, and each section is built entirely differently because it's completely different psychology behind each group of people. So it's essentially the floors are all built differently in order to match the kind of people that are working there. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it could be interesting. If nothing else, entertainment value.
Yeah. And then we have our extras, which if you've been having any kind of Gmail problems, there is actually a quick thing in here about Google fixes serious email authentication bug. So there's a few things going on with Gmail right now.
Yeah, well, lots and lots. Maybe they'll figure out mine and quit tossing my emails into spam.
Quit bullying you?
Yeah.
Now we got a couple other things like end of Reddit, why future won't look like a sci-fi movie. Always worth checking out our extras.
Oh,
Dragon rating time.
I'm going to have to read this. It has to do with the SPF record. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to read this, save this article and read it later.
Is that the Gmail one?
Yeah, because I just skimmed it and pops out. It says something about the SPF record, which is what I've been rewriting all morning was SPF records. So it may very well be part of my problem that I'm dealing with. All right. Well, let's move it along, I suppose. Alrighty, it's time to talk plugins. First plugin I've got for you out the gate today is WP User Merger. Now, this one I tripped across. I didn't even realize you could do this in WordPress. I thought it was going to be an impossibility when I was asked by a client if I could merge two accounts. And I dug down, and turns out this plugin popped up. Been around for a little while, I guess. It's got over 300 installs. They last updated it 3 weeks ago. And Fahid Mohammed, who creates it, I've seen his name before on many other plugins. So, decent plugin. What it does for you, and this is bound to happen to you if you run a membership site or a e-store of some sort where people sign up, register for stuff, buy stuff, do stuff, create accounts for whatever reason or another where you're not the one creating the accounts. Sooner or later, somebody's going to run across the problem of, I couldn't figure out how to reset my password, so I just created a new account with a different email. Can you merge them? Really?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, really? Really? It's like, okay, whatever. Well, this was a request that came across my emails this last week, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Let's see, because as far as I knew, converging two WordPress accounts together and keeping the right bits and pieces it could be done, but you had to manually do it. Well, not anymore. You can toss this plugin in for it, and what it does for you is it allows you to choose the two separate accounts that exist, line them up, then go in and choose how your merging is going to go. Oh, and they've got it set up as a GIF. You choose these two separate accounts. It takes you to a page where you can choose which items you're going to keep, which display name you're going to keep, which user ID you're going to keep, which login name they're going to keep, which profile they're going to keep, what email address you want to keep, what URL they might have put in, their status, their role, what role to keep, which data to keep from each user. You can just merge all the data together from both of the users in it. And then you can click, merge it. And it goes through and does all the merging for you. Once it's merged, it sets everything up for you. And the nice thing about it is you can get to the end, and after it's done merging, if you made a mistake, you can restore it back.
Oh, that's cool.
So very, very useful plugin. And it's free currently. There seems to be some things in here they could add to it to make it even better and start to make it into a premium version. But at the moment, what it offers up and saves you the time and grief of merging two accounts where you would have to look up one, copy all the data over to the other one that you need, and then go delete the first one and then reassign all the posts back to the second one that you're wanting to keep. It's just way more work than this plugin offers for you. Saves you a ton of time, does the job, nice, easy, and simple, merges it together, and just a fantastic plugin. So go check this one out, WP User Merger, and I have given it a 5 Dragon rating.
Very nice.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't know somebody had bothered to create it. But of course, anytime I'm got to do something in WordPress I haven't done, it's like, let's see if somebody's made a plugin for this.
That's awesome.
And 9 times out of 10, I found a plugin all the way going back 15 years now. 9 times out of 10, there's a plugin for it.
All right, so WordPress tips.
All right, we need to go there.
I didn't hear anything. I'm going to assume that you played the sound.
I played the Wii sound. You don't.
Okay.
For some reason, that sound doesn't go through to you.
No, it doesn't. Sometimes it does. Not all the time, though.
Okay.
So for our WordPress tips, it's a newer segment and still hoping to hear back from some of our producers. Let us know whether or not the stuff that we're putting here is helpful. And if you have some of your own tips or your own experiences or what have you, send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca. And we'll toss them in here and make sure that you get the credit for it if you want it. So making sites. If you are thinking about using one of the array of plugins that claim to make things like resetting your site back to default easier, make sure that you learn how to do it manually before trying out the plugin. A reason for this is because if the plugin somehow goes wrong, you won't know what to do to fix it if you haven't already learned how to do this on your own manually. You won't know what went wrong or how to complete the job the plugin is unable to do. So, like, for instance, the merging thing, if something had gone horribly wrong and you had no idea what was required to manually merge it together, you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know how to fix it. You wouldn't know how to move forward. You wouldn't know how to finish the job. So before trying a plugin like this, make sure you know how to do it manually.
That's good. Good thought.
Yeah.
Problem is, I had to do so much manually before plugins were created to do the job. So.
Yeah, so you kind of already do that and you don't think about it. But for those of us who are entering in now, learn how to do it manually first.
Mm-hmm. Take the time, build your sandbox and build it, break it, build it, break it, build it, break it, build it, break it.
Yep, I super broke my sandbox today.
Excellent. That should be done at least once a month when you're learning.
Yeah. So a couple of beginner's tips. Double and triple check that you are on the correct URL before commencing changes. I've made this mistake once before where I thought I was in the right site, but I was in the live site rather than the dev site. Luckily, it was my sandbox. I was playing around with things, so it wasn't really a big issue. But if I had been working on somebody else's site, that could have been catastrophic. Yeah, I totally broke the live site there, and I was like, "Wait a minute, why'd that one break?" And I was like, "Oh, I see. I was on the live one, not the dev one, but it was my sandbox, so it wasn't an issue." Yeah, but yeah. Always check your URL before clicking that mouse.
Always check. Always when you're working on a site and you got a dev and you've got a live open up and you're doing multiple things. Always check it. Best thing is to separate the windows on the two separate monitors, so if you're looking left, it's live. If you're looking right, it's dev.
And if you don't have two separate monitors, at least have two different
browsers,
internet boxes. Yeah, browser boxes.
Yeah. It's not like any of us have ever done that before on a live site. Never. It never occurs. And the moment it happens, you scream bloody murder and you rush as fast as you can to fix the problem before anyone notices.
Oh yeah. It's amazing how fast you can move when you're working on someone's site and you screw up.
Oh, yeah. Fast. Always, always, always.
Commencing warp speed.
Yep.
So another tip I have here is to save. So if you are working on WordPress and you're creating a post or a page, every time that there was even a slightly tedious, hard, or tricky thing that you built, press save. Save draft. Okay, always do that. And if you're worried about space, you can just go in later and you can remove revisions that you've made so that there's more space.
Yep.
But always save. And another thing too is if you click save enough times, then you'll have multiple revisions that you can go into and work on. Say you saved it 3 times and it turns out that the last 3 times you really didn't like it, you wanted to go back to the way it was before, you can go into your revisions, go back to that revision where before you started saving there, and you can work on from there. So it's really useful. Always click save.
Always. And the moment you don't click save will be the time that the browser didn't send the information.
Or it'll be the time that your cat decides to come say hi, and I've seen the most interesting things happen beneath cat paws.
Oh yeah. Almost as bad as monkeys. Put enough cats on a keyboard, maybe they can write the works of Shakespeare.
Nah, theirs would be much more rude.
Oh,
more like Dante. Was it 9 circles or 7 circles?
More like Dante's Inferno.
Yeah,
the 9 circles of hell.
Yeah, more like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Yeah, you're probably right. All right.
All right.
Well,
I have my plugin for today. It's called Reset Database. So this is a newer plugin. And I saw this and I thought, okay, why don't I give this a go? I need to reset my sandbox. It's about that time. So I figured I'd give it a go and try it out. This plugin is supposed to work by removing all media files and putting everything back to default settings. All customizations and materials are removed. Your theme will be set back to default. All active plugins will be deactivated, and all internal data, such as custom posts and pages, will be deleted. Once this is installed and activated, you will find on the left-hand menu towards the bottom. One of the cool features this has is that you cannot just click a button and have it go. You need to first type in the word reset into the text area that this little dashboard gives you. And then you will be able to tell it to reset, and it's supposed to reset your site. Unfortunately, when I went to use this plugin, it had a critical error, locked me out of my sandbox by deleting all the logins. So I had to create a new administrator email, and it appears that my Elementor Hello theme is still in charge of the site, though the information of the posts and pages has indeed been deleted. I'm not sure if that's normal for these kinds of plugins to delete all user information, even the administrator login.
No, it shouldn't delete the administrator login. But if you're ever stuck, you need to stick an administrator login. I do have a script I've written that you can upload to a site and then hit it, and it automatically inserts an administrator into it.
Yeah, I probably should get that from you, but see, when stuff like this happens, that's why I said make sure you know how to do it manually first. Yeah, because if I didn't have any idea, I would be so lost right now.
Oh yeah, well, that's true. But yeah, I actually wrote the script like about 12, 13 years ago when someone asked me to hack into their WordPress website because they lost their administrative access. And
cool.
Like, oh, I don't know how to do that. And then I finally, do I got FTP? And they gave me the FTP access. You got to have FTP access to the site.
Yeah.
Because you got to upload the script to the root, and then you got to make sure you make damn well sure you delete that script immediately after you've used it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, someone else could come along and figure out how to get into it, change the names and information in the script, and insert their own administrative access.
So yeah, I will be trying out a few other of these reset things because I want to see how each of the different ones work.
Well, there's a couple out there that work pretty decently. I've used a few in the past that remove everything really well.
Okay.
I don't remember what they were. It's been a long time since I've used an automated script. I usually I get to the end of it and I just say hell with it. I just delete the whole bloody thing and reinstall WordPress fresh.
Well, I'm not really sure if it went horribly wrong here because of some other plugin I had in there and activated at the time. I don't know. It's a test site. All kinds of weird things happen in these sites. So it could be my fault. It could also be the plugin. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Hard to say.
So I give this a 3 dragon rating.
Alrighty. Well, it is what it is. Still could be a useful plugin if they fix their glitches.
If it deletes all the logins every time, I think that's a really bad idea.
That's a bad glitch, yeah.
So, on to our producer know-how and donation segment.
Oh, wait a second.
What?
Oh. As MDN happened to a coworker back in the day in a bank. He was asked to investigate a bug, logged in, chose a stock at random, bought 1 million shares, waited 30 minutes for the price to change, sold them, realized he was on live, and by law, the bank had to honor the deal. And by dumb luck, he made a small profit. Good thing
that's actually pretty awesome.
Good thing the stock didn't crash in that 30 minutes of time. Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, everyone's got war stories, and they're always entertaining. All right. Off you go with the rest of the stuff. Am I supposed to play something here?
Yeah. Donations.
Donations. There we go.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
So we have 3 levels of producers that help keep the show's larder stocked to bursting. We have our freelance producers, our backroom producers, and our war room producers. There are special perks for backroom and war room producers that you can learn all about on our website, WP Plugins A-Z.com. Click on Time, Treasure, or Talent donations in our main menu to learn all the nitty-gritty details on how you can add your 2 cents. We also have some information in the show notes here, which our show notes will be up within 24 hours after our show. And there are a lot of ways to join in and be part of your own production and support the show at the same time. There's loads of ways you can use us as your tool to get out there, like getting an interview, leaving a review for a plugin, or donating your own plugin license or review. I recommend you give it a go. See how it helps. It could help you. It'll help us. So it's a mutual agreement. And we do not have any feedback from our producers out there today. Hopefully we'll have some next week. We do, however, have some miscellaneous announcements from us and our producers. So if anybody out there has an announcement like a meetup or that they will be on a stage at a WordCamp or something, let us know. So you can send it in to me at amber@wppro.ca and I'll add it into this section for you and we'll get your news out there. Currently, we have... if you are interested in finding a WordPress meetup somewhere around the world, you can go and check out the places here at meetup.com/pro/WordPress. Next Victoria meetup will be on July 1st. This meetup aims to happen every month on the 1st. And there is only one WordCamp happening in July, and that is in the Philippines on July 8th. There's no more happening this month so far as I was able to find. Keep checking back every week. Well, we should have new stuff every week, although this month is pretty slow, I'm finding.
Yeah, well. Listen, everybody's getting into summer mode.
Yep. So if anybody's interested in reaching us through our real brick and mortar address, we have it right here in our show notes just for you. But we do also have our virtual addresses too, and you can find those right here in our show notes. Today's plugins we covered were...
I covered up the WP User Merger plugin, which is excellent if you're running an online store or membership site to help merge accounts. It allows you to keep the bits of the multiple accounts, keep them merged into one. Very nice plugin, so go check it out. And I rated it at 5 dragons.
And I covered Reset Database. It's supposed to be speedy in resetting your WordPress database. It's supposed to be a remarkably quick one-click procedure. I do like the fact that you cannot unintentionally click reset. You have to actually put the text in order to be able to click the reset button. That is a great feature in my opinion.
That is a good feature. That's a good double check.
And there's a confirmation role. There must be typing confirmation. So if you type the word in incorrectly or if you try to copy and paste, it's not going to work. You have to actually type it in there.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And I rated it at 3 dragons.
Alrighty.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
Oh, if anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here on the show, send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca and we'll see if we can stump my dad. First question. How much about website security do you need to understand in order to run your own site?
Well, nowadays you need to understand how to install a plugin and follow the instructions for setting it up. You know, that helps dramatically. You should understand some of the basics. I can't get the basics out of my head at the moment. But, you know, good strong passwords, unique passwords. You know, basically you need to understand the basics of security. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. You know, the programs are a lot better, more hardened than they used to be, although the hackers are better than they used to be, so it's still an arms race. And yeah, you need to know not a ton unless you're going to become a security expert, but you do need to know how to set up good security plugins. And there's a ton of security plugins out there to choose from now.
Well, what area of website security would you recommend starting with to get enough of a handle on it to move on to running your site?
Go get a handle on iThemes or WordFence or I can't think of the other security plugins. Just set up a security plugin. It'll take care of most of the problems you have.
Okay, so you don't really need to understand what the security plugin is doing. You just need to understand how to use a security plugin?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to understand. Well, how many people out there understand how their website works to begin with? I mean, realistically.
True.
I mean, all they have to understand is the basics of security more than anything else. The basics being, make sure you choose a good secure password. You don't hand it out. You don't keep it written right next to your computer where people can find it.
No using the word password for your password.
No using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just the basics of security is what they need to know for most people. Unless you're moving into a specialty knowledge of security, you don't need to know much at all.
All right. Well, I have 2 more questions after the closing credits. Okay,
well, that wraps up those. Let's talk about it. Those of you listening on the downloads from all of the various podcast places, hey, you want to hear the good stuff? Go check out the YouTube channel, and we've got lots of good stuff before and after the show there. But right now, we're going to let our girl take us on out, and we'll talk to all of you on YouTube in just a couple of minutes.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa-z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa-z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa-z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty then. Empty had a good comment there.
Yeah, I was just reading that.
Read it out.
For security, you don't need to know how to fight in the trenches, but how to be a general and deploy the defensive weapons you have in your arsenal. You need to be a better general than the hackers and realize that the war never ends.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The war never ends, man. It just continues to go. It's an arms race. It's a constant arms race. See who can gain the biggest leads.
So my last 2 questions, I realize kind of work as one question.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask them both at once. What are you looking for to see if a security plugin is a good one? What tells you when a security plugin is not a good one? How can you tell it's not working?
Well, you can tell it's not working if your site's getting hacked. How's that? Looking for if a security plugin is a good one. It's the ones that stop the random bots, because most of the hacking is done by bots nowadays, more than actual humans sitting there. I've only had one experience where I was actually fighting a live human hacker at the same time I was doing something. So, but yeah, I look at one that's easy to use, easy to set up. and doesn't slow the website down. Because for years I'd been using WordFence, but I've started to yank it, and I can't remember what I've started to use in favor of WordFence, which is lighter and does the same as WordFence. But for some reason, WordFence is going through a stage again where they've gotten heavy and they're slowing down the websites. And
iThemes.
iThemes, I've never liked iThemes.
No?
Never. I've tried to use it. I've got clients that use it. I have to configure it. They love it. So I've used it and configured it, but I'm not overly fond of their interface or their usage on it. It's a great plugin. It works. It works really well. It doesn't mesh with my brain.
Fair enough. Which
is the big problem is I like plugins and things that mesh with my brain. Is basically how it works.
Yeah, actually, I find iThemes easier to use than WordFence.
Well, then if iThemes is what works for you, it's a great plugin. It works well. It does a great job. I can't remember the one I chose recently. I chose a new one recently when I wanted to abandon WordFence, and basically I'll remember what site I put it on when I'm looking to replace it, and I'll go back to that site and look and say, what plugin did I use there? Because that's how I often remember plugins. I often forget their names, but I remember the website I used them on. As weird as that is.
Hendian said, good plugins are only good for a while. They can get stale, so no updates in a long time is a red flag. That's a good point.
Yes, that's a very good point, is making sure that they are updated regularly. Because the security field changes constantly. So it needs to be updated at least 4 times a year. 3 to 4 times a year, at least that often. Anything less than 3 to 4 times a year means you're probably going to have some issues. And you don't want something that's been sitting around for forever and not being updated. At that point, they're not even up to date with the latest security. If it's been sitting around.
Say a person doesn't really like how iThemes or WordFence works. What would they be looking for in order to find a decent security plugin?
Looking at one that provides them with a web application firewall. Looking at one that helps double check the security of their passwords. Looking for ones that auto block hack attempts.
Okay.
You want something that auto blocks IPs that are being attempted to be hacked. Come on, hold on. For some reason, my computer just froze.
It's not good.
Well, not my computer froze, but the item I was working on just suddenly decided it didn't want to do its job. All right, we'll wait for Windows to catch up. Hopefully I'm still streaming because I can't change Windows on anything.
Well, maybe it got bored.
Well, could be. There we go.
It made a sound.
Yes, because it saved the wrong file name. That's why it's acting up. Took me a while there. I'm trying to convert this bloody file and get it all set and ready, and it decided that it wouldn't do it correctly. Stupid, silly machine. Yes, okay.
Well,
I heard you.
I guess that's probably it then.
That pretty much wraps it all up. We're kind of in random mode at the moment, and yes, Hendian also noted updates can spoil a plugin. Yes, as we know, if oh no. Also, updates can spoil a plugin, so recent updates can be a red flag. Well, that's recent updates. Maybe a recent updates are a red flag. Maybe they're not. You can see updates that do spoil stuff. Even WordPress updates spoil stuff from time to time.
You want defense in depth. If one layer fails, the next will stop it. I use Cloudflare's firewall and a plugin firewall and an anti-bad bot plugin and yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that does make sense.
Yeah.
If you don't like the way that the multi-tool plugins work, grab the individual ones.
Yeah, well, that would be like, laying out the layers of protection from my server all the way down to the website. What gets past the server's protections, gets to the website, and you need protections on the website. So you do need protections at the server level too, and depending on the hosting company, they may or may not have very many protections at the server level. All right, well, I guess that's a wrap. We can call it at that. Thanks a lot for your input, Hendian. Always entertaining. And
thanks for showing up. You always make it an awesome show.
Always helpful. All right, let's have a little music. Carry us on out of here and close out the show.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, folks. That's all we've got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Glitch.